channel, and the HitboTC brand is intended for late teens and adults. Anyone under the age of 13 should not be watching my content. What is up, everyone? Welcome to today's adventure. It's not an adventure. It's the Creator Crew Show. It's the new thing that I'm doing. So I did 2 episodes kind of in December of last year. This is the first episode of 2020. This is the start of an exciting year for the HitboTC channel. As you guys know, I love playing games. A lot of you have followed me and have known about me through my love of Sea of Thieves and the Black Death crew and all the adventures that we have there. But something that I'm super passionate about is helping other creators kind of get started in this thing called streaming and content creation and all of that stuff. My background, I've kind of have a little bit of an advantage in that, I'm used to branding, I'm used to video editing. There's still aspects of streaming that I'm learning that's new every day. But all that being said, I want to share the knowledge that I do have and the things that I am learning. So that's what this Creator Crew Show is. That's what this is about. So if you guys love that idea, there's things I'm working towards. I'm super excited about. So like in around July, I'll be launching kind of a coaching program with me, some one-on-one stuff. It'll be a really neat thing that I'm going to offer. And then in addition to that, I'm hoping to have an 8-week course just to gear towards helping you get started and give you everything you need to know, all the behind the scenes stuff, kind of all of that stuff. So with that being said, let's talk branding. Today's episode is all on branding and the importance of a branding and why brand matters. Most people think a brand is just a logo. That is not what a brand is. It is an asset of your brand, but a logo is a huge important step. And getting a unique logo is a huge important step. So without further ado, today's guest, I'm super excited about him. If you guys don't know who ExodusAblaze is, he's an amazing creator. He's an amazing artist. He's probably one of the best Sea of Thieves community esport logo creators I've seen. Like really, he's outstanding. I've had him do, you can see my shirt. He didn't do my logo. He didn't, right there. He didn't do my logo, but he did Sharpie's logo. He did all my other crew's logos just because he's spot on. And I knew he'd do it right, do him justice. So without further ado, let's jump over to the interview with ExodusAblaze. Hey, what's up, dude? Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I hear you.
All right, everyone, can you hear him? Last time we did this, it didn't work. Everyone was saying audio was all over the place. Hopefully it's not this time. I think we're good. No one said anything like, you can't hear you right now. So, I mean, I think we're in business, man.
Okay, good.
So now people can put a face to your logo. I think I've seen your face maybe once or twice showing off the shirt, in fact, that you have on now.
Yeah, I did a couple face reveals with it. It's pretty cool.
But you do logos, man. So let's jump into this. And before I continue, everyone who's watching, make sure to just kind of write down some questions that you want us to answer, and we'll do a Q&A at the end. But let's just talk branding. So how long have you been an artist for logos?
Well, for how long I've been working on them and really, taking it seriously, it's been only a couple months. It hasn't been that long, but I would consider myself like an artist for as long as I can remember. I've been sketching and drawing and doing things here and there, but seriously doing art, it's only been since the summer.
Okay. All right. Well, you've worked with so many people at this point. Captain Chris Rowe, you've worked on all of my crew. Who else have you worked on? You did White Knight's new logo, right?
Yeah, I just worked with White Knight. I worked with blanking right now, the creators, so that the Sea of Thieves music group. Just a whole bunch of people. I never thought I would be doing this, honestly. So this is insane to me. But yeah, it's really blown up ever since working with you. It just step by step moved on to new people and outsourced to different styles as well. So it's been a really awesome experience.
Nice. Yeah, you're and you don't just do logo animation, right?
Yeah, I mainly
Or
do.
logos? You do also do
Yeah,
animations, is what I meant.
yeah, trying to dabble in a little bit of everything, but I do mainly branding, static stuff. So not animation isn't my, forte, but I'm trying to learn here and there just so I can help people out.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do like sketches, basic illustrations, logos, mascot logos, business stuff, banners,
yeah.
social media things, advertisements, like
Do
whatever
the
whatever
gambit.
you need.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk branding. So today's episode, like you heard, is all about branding and why branding is important. So let me ask you, in your opinion, why does a brand matter?
A brand matters because you don't want to, blend in with everyone. You want to stand out to your target market and you want to give yourself an identity because people connect with that. And without a brand identity, you're not going to do as well as you could. So let's say on YouTube, you're going to stand out way more if you have your own logo, your own color scheme, your own kind of feel. So that when people just look at your profile picture or your channel, they know it's you and they know what you're all about just by looking at it. It makes them want to learn more.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I definitely 100% agree with you on that, right? So back when I started, I had this like I'm not an artist, everyone, just so you know. I'm not an artist. I can't draw worth crap, but I can manipulate an Illustrator file like crazy. So if you remember, my old logo was like this vampire looking skeleton like thing. Like it's old and it had HitboTC up there. Like it looked old. It looked good. You can still buy. It's like classic Hitbo now. Like there's that aspect of it. But when I when I wanted to expand, I guess, the channel beyond just Sea of Thieves, because literally at that point it was only Sea of Thieves content. I wanted to expand the channel beyond that. I focused on this aspect of I want an esports logo that kind of nods always to Sea of Thieves because I'm in it for the long run. So if the channel one day is 1 million subscribers, my brand will not change. It'll always be the same thing. The reason for that is I wanted something that acknowledged kind of the start that gave me my channel, but also like aspects that I love. Like I'm the cursed captain, and he's got like the Athena or the ferryman of the damned like color schemes a bit to it in the logo. And so when I had an artist, it wasn't ExodusAblaze. This was pre-ExodusAblaze, pre-ExodusAblaze, but this artist was amazing and they definitely crushed it. And they were just a fan of the channel. They're like, hey, I got an idea. I'd love to draw something up. But it really, when I saw it, it spoke to me as a creator. I was like, that's it. And I think for you, Exodus, I love that's what you do, right? So we worked a little bit on my cruise logos. And I just shared kind of some personality traits. I shared kind of some of the things that they were wanting, and you just crushed it, dude. So like let's talk about the process. Like how do you sit down and kind of start figuring this thing out? For everyone watching, it's like, all right, I don't even know where to begin. Exodus, tell me where I should begin.
So first off, you need to know what you're looking for, what details, what like emotion you want everything to have. Working with you, you already had that kind of set up with your logo, so we could move like go off of that. So I took your logo and then just you gave me a couple of concepts. You showed me some pictures, references, and just kind of how you want it to feel. And then I just sketch. So I sketch a couple different logos. I might work on just this one design. I'll write a little in my notebook. I'll go sit outside. That's what I did with yours. I did the Sharpie logo. I was outside. I sketched it all on paper. Then I brought it inside, was taking pictures of it for you, and then I put it on my computer.
Yeah,
And then in Photoshop, I sketched over it again to make sure it was clean and smooth. Then I just send you different references like, hey, what do you think about this? Should we do that? Do we do whatever?
yeah.
So from that point, we have all the lines. So all the line work. Then we talk about colors and highlights and shadows. I'll draw those in just to get kind of like a better rough draft. Then once we like the final concept, you put it into Illustrator and smooth everything out again. Make sure it's a vector file so that
Lots of
it's
smoothing, everybody. That's
yeah,
what we've
lots of
discovered
smooth.
so far.
Yeah, and I have to do a lot of that because Not everything's as clean as I want it to be, but that's what I try to do. But yeah, you need to have it as a vector file so that everything is visible at small sizes. So you can scale it up, you can scale it down, you can put it on a shirt, you can put
Yep.
it on a billboard just so it works everywhere. Once that is done, the logo itself is done, but then what I like to do for like social media and stuff is make a background for it.
Yeah.
So, because not everything is transparent, so I'll make like a background. I'll make some sort of, they're called like AVIs, but it's just something to help present the logo better.
Nice. I love it. Right. So I went through that process with you. It was a great process. And it really something kind of like backing up a little bit. I want to talk on is branding. Like we're talking the logo right now. So there's a huge aspect of a brand that's the logo. You need it, like Exodus was saying, you need a logo that stands apart, that's unique to you as a creator. You don't want to just blend in. You don't want to go to Fiverr.com and pay some random person, tons of money for a logo that isn't unique to you. You want something that's unique to you. So in this case, reaching out to ExodusAblaze or another artist, you should reach out to ExodusAblaze. He's amazing. But reaching out to someone like that to just sit down and hear your heart on where you want to take your channel and where you want to take your content, I think is super important. But even before you get to a logo, I mean, let's talk names. Like, I love your name. I'm a huge fan of my own name. But like, how does someone come up with a creative name? Do you have any tips for that?
Well, I could, yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I'm not really the best at giving names. My old like gamer tag and stuff it was really bad. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but the
It's
way I
not as
came up,
bad as mine. It's not as bad as mine. I'm going to tell you right now. My name when I was 13, don't judge me, was Winter X, and I put it in brackets. So I would always say, super cheesy. I would always say when I was ready to like just dominate, because I used to play Counter Strike. I used to play in what's the league that they did? Oh, I forget the league name. I used to compete in Counter Strike 1.5, the best version of Counter Strike ever. Actually, it's 1.3. 1.3 Counter Strike was better than 1.5, but 1.5 was pretty good. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Winter X, and I would say time for Winter to go extreme, and then I would just like put my try hard on, and I would get all sweaty, and I would dominate. I was super good.
yeah, that's not even a bad name. That's mine is definitely worse.
It's not
So,
unique though. Well, tell us your name. Tell us. Come on,
oh,
say it.
I was 11, and I I liked animals, and I thought spies were pretty cool. So I put all those together, and my name was Animal Spy 11. And I just put that everywhere. That was my YouTube name. You can go back,
Animal
wait.
Spy 11. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. And that
Wow.
was my intro. That was in all of my YouTube videos. So
Let's try this out for a second. Hey everyone, it's Animal Spy 11 here. That sounds terrible.
I know, dude. It was, I would cringe every time I watch that. I mean, I still cringe at myself today, but that was I'm satisfied with my name now. It's a little difficult. Anyway, so for deciding on your name, uh again, think about your target market. So I obviously was thinking about, online YouTube creators, what kind of feel I want to put out to them, but also I wanted a name that people might be able to understand if they weren't in that target market. So like, let's say just someone who's not a gamer, someone who doesn't play games or see names like this often, they might be, scratch their heads and be like, "What Exodus Ablaze? What does that mean? What blah blah blah?" So I've had to explain that to people, and explain why I'm named this weird, funky name and why everything is the way it is. Um, so yeah, so it's good to have a meaning behind it too. So if you just have some random name, it's not going to stick with you and
Yeah.
become like your identity in a
Yep.
sense. So you want to have something that resonates with yourself. So the way I went about it is, I don't want to be called Animal Spy 11. There was a couple other name changes in between there, but I wanted something that I could take seriously and something that would represent me and that I could use everywhere. It wasn't like, Exodus Ablaze plays Minecraft or Sea of Thieves. It was just Exodus Ablaze, so I could use it forever and ever. Um, I wanted to have something that meant something for me. So Exodus means a new beginning, and ablaze means like on fire for, or like passionate. So I that's what I was doing. I wanted to be passionate for a new beginning, and that is how I
There you
came up with
go.
my name.
Exodus Ablaze, everybody. How long did it take you?
Surprisingly, when I actually took it seriously and like figured out what I wanted to present myself as, it only took like, it was in one day I came up with this name. I just wrote down examples and like sketched it out and, oh look, there, I like those two words, put them together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah, mine. I think mine. I've shared this a few times, but mine was a little bit different. So like, Winter X was like my 13-year-old self gamer tag. When I was 16, 17, I had Hito Kairi 76. So like, if you're familiar with any anime, uh, the Kenshin, what's that series? It's I forget the name of it. It's eluding me right now. But anyways, it means the Batosai, aka Manslayer. I thought that was pretty BA. So HitboTC took Hito Kairi. Everyone would just call me Hit because they didn't know how to say it. So I took Hit from Hito Kairi, Bo from Lobo. So Lobo's always had his name Lobo. So I took Bo because he's my brother. It was like, whatever. I'm taking it. I'm taking this little piece of you. So it's Hitbo and then TC are my in real life initials. So it took me a little bit of time to figure out, but something that's important. I'll drop a link here in the chat for everyone who's watching. But there's a website that you got to check out. So when you're coming up with a name, it's important to make it unique to you. That's all true, right? Like what Exodus was saying, like he wanted it to be meaningful. For me, I wanted it to be meaningful as well. Kind of bring in my past gamer tag to the future self. But something within all of that still is you need to make sure that you essentially own that name so that someone else doesn't already exist out there with the name. So like Hito Kairi, somebody already had that name out there. I couldn't take it, I couldn't lock it down. And you don't want numbers, okay? You don't want numbers in your name. That's really not, it's not good. Like, yeah, Summit 1G has it, yeah, sure. But it's eluding the main point. Like if it was Summit 1G35, like it would be kind of weird. You don't want numbers in your name. You want to be the original, the OG. So with that being said, there's a website called namecheck.com. I'm gonna drop the link. It's a great website, and basically what it does is it checks everything in one place. So you type in the name that you're looking for, and it'll tell you if it's taken on Twitter or Instagram or if the .com's taken. Like it'll just give you this huge list of things where it's taken and where it's not. I even think it'll do Twitch for you. So namecheck.com. Yeah, yes. Thank you, Adlam. Adlam's correcting my forgetfulness on my brain what that anime was called. So cool. So we've talked about name. We've talked about the branding process a bit. I'd love to kind of explore a bit more with uh what you think, like I asked you earlier like what you think the importance of a good brand was. Let's expand a little bit into that if you're good with that. So like I'd love to kind of explore this conversation a bit more in that branding is important. It's more than just a name, but it's everything together. So like if you're to ask me what I think is important or what makes a brand, it's everything in together. It's the logo, it's the personality, it's how you say things, it's your tone, it's just like everything combined together. You said it earlier so well, personality, right? So a channel needs to have a personality. Like I have my own real life name that I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I have my real life name and I have a personal identity. Everyone in my circle knows me for who I am. And your channel needs that. And that's what a brand is, right? So it's giving that personality to a thing that doesn't have it. Like you got to create for it this thing. And I think that is, I mean, a simple way of looking at it for a brand, but I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you think, man?
I mean, I agree. That's definitely something that is important. You want to be, know yourself, and you want to represent yourself. Because before was into graphic design and stuff, I didn't know all that, so I was trying to be like other people and imitate other people, be someone that I wasn't being genuine. So that is also another thing, is presenting yourself genuinely and professionally. um and like you said earlier, it's all about tying a knot around your personality, your what you want to show people, your content, tying it all together. It's more than just slapping a logo on it. It's You got to represent that with everything you do, your thumbnails, your logo, your banner, your animations, your editing style. All of that ties into your brand, and if one of those is off, it's not going to resonate well with people.
Yeah. That's good. Brave Fox is in chat. He's like, but my number has meaning. That's not what I meant, Brave Fox. Get out of here. Get out of town. You know what I meant. You know. Giving me a hard time. He's one of my vanguards. He's He
Yeah.
has an amazing channel. He just rebranded himself too, and he's done the process, right, that that we're describing here. He's gone through the process of making a brand that's meaningful to him, that's unique. Before that, it was Star Fox, and I'm pretty sure that name is taken. So what a great example of having a brand that you can't make your own because somebody else has it. So Brave Fox, I thought, was an amazing name for him, and he just made the switch. So awesome stuff there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we covered like the main branding thing I wanted to talk about. I think we talked about the process. We talked about it being more than a name or anything like that. You have anything to add in?
I mean, I can give you examples of like what not to do, like things to avoid.
Let's do it. What
Yeah, we can
should
go
we
there.
avoid in our
Well,
branding steps when we're trying to get branded? Tell us.
obviously, you said before, avoiding numbers in your name, because that's not really a name. Like that's your gamer tag or whatever, but for a brand, it's hard to like look that up. So you need to think about search results and stuff. What are you presenting to the entire internet? So numbers aren't always good. Sometimes you can make it work. No, like, try not to have symbols in your name and stuff. So like no slashes or
So I can't have
commas.
like, hashtag HitboTC hashtag. Like that's not good. Is that what you're telling me?
No, no, yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
No
What
thanks.
about the old days doing like L33T for leet? Like I'm the leet. So I would
Yeah,
do
no,
leet
I've
HitboTC. No? Come on,
no,
that's
I've
good.
worked with people who have that name or like want that typed out, and it's so hard because the fonts don't line up and it just doesn't look good. So you'll type it out and it'll be like L33T and exclamation point, and they want that. I'm like, okay.
Those are old school gamers right there, everybody. Old school
Yeah, yeah.
gamers right there.
Um, Another example is, let me think, probably color. So let's take your logo for instance. Let's say
Whoa,
you're like,
you're on some
oh,
territory.
whoa,
Don't you
no,
dare.
no, I'm saying, I'm giving an example.
Oh, a good
Your
example,
logo's
right?
it's good.
Okay, yeah. I like this. You're approved. Keep going. Keep
Yeah.
going.
All right. So let's say, HitboTC is trying to figure out his color scheme. He wants to, put out this feeling of like the cursed captain, and he's roaming the seas, killing guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
gotta get free from that curse, bro.
yeah, get free of that curse. But he chooses pink as his highlight color. That's
There.
not gonna show that feeling. That's gonna be like, cursed captain, oh, snuggle buns, cursed captain. So that's not gonna
Wow.
work out too well.
I think I just found my alter ego.
Oh
Snuggle
no.
Buns Curse Captain. Hashtag Snuggle Buns.
Oh my god. Making moves.
No, he brings a good point, everybody. He brings a good point. Colors are super important. They help you stand out. One of the creators that does this super good is Fuzzy Bond. He has a very unique green color that he uses in almost everything that he does. And that's something too, I think, that should be said. So to have a good brand takes time. You have to build it up. You can start, you want to start with a good foundation. That's where someone like ExodusAblaze would come in and give you a very solid branding foundation. But from there, it's your job as the creator to stay true to your brand and to stay consistent with it. And I've seen a lot of creators and designers out there, and they tend to do this often, but they get bored with it. They get bored with their look, so they want to like experiment, or they go like really left field with it, and they go crazy, and they start creating things that don't represent their brand, that don't like stick to their branding colors, their scheme. Like they just go crazy with it. And I've seen that backfire. And the reason that people do that, from my experience, is they feel like they need to mix it up. But I would dare say that the most important thing that you can do is stay true to your brand, stay true to your colors, and really work it out that way. There's a lot that you can do in that. Like even my channel, for example, even HitboTC, right? So if you look at my main brand, I use a font called Square Slam for my HitboTC text. And so I have my mark, which is the icon, and then I have my text. And for a while there, I was using the HitboTC main hit like font for my thumbnails. And what I discovered was the font didn't look really great for that. It looks great for HitboTC, but you start like typing other words, it starts to get weird looking and hard to read. So I started to kind of venture into this way of creating a thumbnail that still reflects my brand, the clean edges, the tones and my colors. And I wanted something that could just kind of stand out a bit though too in its own way. So like if you look even at the thumbnail for this video, I'm using the HitboTC style to create this thumbnail look that I've created for the crew and some other videos. And I think that's a good example of just staying true to your brand, right? What do you say to that?
Oh, I agree. I've noticed that change. I remember when you had like the whatever, like the animated golden legendary sort of font, and that looked good. But I definitely think what you've done with your thumbnails is more reflective of your brand, and it like every time I see that on YouTube, I'm like, oh look, a hippo video. So it's doing its job
Yeah,
pretty well.
and to that point, even with my Sea of Thieves exclusive videos that are just Sea of Thieves content, I've noticed that I can get away with some videos with my HitboTC exclusive brand, but like I'm in this place where I started a certain way and I got known for this specific look, especially in Sea of Thieves. So like when you're watching Sea of Thieves content, it's almost guaranteed if you see this captivating image with like big ass golden text that has this texture on it, you're like, that's a hippo video. So I've noticed even as a content creator, it's like, okay, I want to start expanding my channel in these other ways and with this like more branded look. But I know at the same time there's something to be said about branding consistency even with my old Sea of Thieves style videos. So like people still want to see that. I've noticed those thumbnails get more clicks. So even for me, it's like, okay, how do I expand my brand, my channel, beyond that golden text look? Because that golden text look wouldn't look great for this type of video that we're doing today with Exodus. Like it wouldn't make sense. So I needed something there. So I've expanded the type of content that I'm doing and meeting that brand a little bit closer with that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I talk all the time, man. I love branding. Branding is so important, you guys, and that's why I wanted to get ExodusAblaze on, because most people, like, you have to start somewhere, and that's totally okay. But you'll always reach this tipping point where you're like, okay, it's time to get very serious about my brand. And that's where you would pull in someone like Exodus, whose skills really come from, and like I've worked with him, so I know how it goes. Like you share your heart, you share where you want this thing to go, and you give examples or ideas of like things that you like, and then he just kind of puts it together and creates for you a very, very unique look. So I love it. Let's jump into some Q&A. That sound good, man?
Yeah, sounds awesome.
All right, so question I saw earlier. Let me grab it. It was up here a little bit. Question. So everyone else, just start asking your questions. I'll get to you in a second. I think the question was related to marketing. Hold I need to find a better. I need to like create a link that people can just submit it. Okay, here you go. Narfield Gaming asks, "How do you market yourself?" So let's ask that question. And if you want me to jump at it, I can.
Like
But
me, my brand, myself.
yeah, like how I think he's asking for him, right? So like, how would you market yourself as a channel, as a creator, as a content creator?
Um, that's I mean that's kind of a personalized question because you need to know yourself. So it really depends on you got to think about who you're speaking to. So, who's your target market? So, let's say for me, for instance, I want people to notice my logo for certain qualities and my brand. I want it to just speak to people who are looking for design or speak to content creators and esports people and whatnot. So, if like find your target market, find out what speaks to them, and then act on that, make something that is unique to you and that speaks to these people. I know we've been saying that again and again. It might not, come across right away. You might not understand it or know what that is. But once you just look it up, you could just see what works. That's one of the other thing is look at what other people are doing and learn,
Yeah,
take all that in and go off of that.
I
But yeah,
that's great. Yeah, I would say one of the key aspects to marketing yourself, and this kind of goes back to your brand, knowing who you are, because uh, anyways, I'll get to that in a second. But it comes to this is like you want to know who you are and who do you associate with. So, in my opinion, one of the best ways to kind of market yourself is to network. As a creator, you want to network with people, but you don't want to be pushy. When I first started my channel, I was around 300 subs when Fuzzy Bond kind of took notice of me and kind of, in a way, took me under his wing and got me connected with people like Jesse Tattoo Gaming, which eventually led to connections with um, people like Alektar Gaming, and then even Falcor himself, Captain Falcor, who's a huge YouTuber. If you guys don't know him, you should. Obviously, you probably already. Silly that I even say that you don't know who he is because you already know who he is. But networking is super important, but not networking from a what can I do for me aspect, right? Like genuine marketing is always going to be received better, and genuine networking comes with that. So Fuzzy reached out to me, and then we built a kind of a friendship, really, from there, and we help each other, and we grow each other, and we help each other, like kind of get ahead and grow from there. So like if I was to say like where would you start, like Narfield, I know you asked this question, how do you market yourself? Obviously there's all the things that ExodusAblaze just said, but one of the most important things I think you can do while you're doing all of those things is just network and reach out to people and just ask questions. Like I reached out and asked a question to Falcor originally and asked him, just like, "Hey man, would you be up for a stream with me?" And he said, "Yeah." We actually got me, him, Tattoo, and the Crow's Nest all together in a stream, and we did like a two-parter episode where Larry got lost or something. Like it was pretty fun times. But I just asked him a question because most creators are pretty stand up dudes, and they want to help other people out if they have the time. Obviously, some people are more pressed for time. But anyways, that's what I would say. I have another question here from Order of Eden. He asks, or she, Order of Eden. I don't know. My bad. They ask. You mentioned not giving out your real name. Do you think that's vital? Plenty of people use real names instead of usernames. What do you think on that?
yeah, I even contemplated that, thinking using my own name. Uh, at that point, it depends on your content. I've seen other designers use their real name because they want to work with more people like in real life aside from like gaming or whatever. So it's kind of a rough subject. I personally didn't want my information out there because if you give out your full name to everyone, that's asking for some trouble. So if you're going to be online, I would say try to stick to an alias or a gamer tag or something. But if you want to incorporate that, what I've done is I introduce my, my first name in like my emails and stuff, so people can connect with me like, hey, I'm not some fake YouTuber, I'm an actual person. This is just how I
No, you're
keep
fake.
the
You're a
habits.
robot. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Yeah,
I've
this is
seen your
all
work. You're
really
you're
cool.
too damn good. You're too damn good to be a person.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, you gotta, it's up to you, it's up to what you're comfortable with, and how genuine you want to be.
Yeah, I would say so. For me, it was more of the personal aspect, like the privacy. Like I'm a private person in my personal life. I'm not really on social media in my personal life, because I'm a private person. So one of those things is I'll really want to separate this aspect that I do on YouTube, which is all like it's a huge following we got already over there, and I wanted to like just separate it because people get weird, like Exodus was saying, like people get super weird, and I don't want any of that crap. Like none of that. I don't need that in my life. Like I'm just here to entertain. I'm here to have fun with my family playing games. Here to have fun with my community playing games, and here to entertain in that way and help creators. So I don't think they need my name to know that, but I know there's amazing creators out there that do. So like when we talk people who use their name, obviously you have some of the biggest stars on YouTube, and they're at a point where that's totally fine, right? They're at a point that's totally fine. If you're smaller, you can do that too, and that's fine as well. But I definitely recommend an A. I love how you shared that, Exodus. Like you maybe using your first name just so that they know you're a real person, but
Mhm.
definitely something to kind of keep in track there. Let's see. Another question. If you have someone else make your logos and stuff, do you own the rights to that logo or does the maker? All right. Well, that is an easy question to answer. It depends on the arrangement that you have with the artist. So, if you work out the terms with that artist, usually if they're someone like ExodusAblaze, they have the right to market your logo, as in I created this logo for this person, but you own all the rights to it. Usually how it goes. So if you want to make sure you establish that kind of the front end, um, otherwise things can get dicey. So I'm pretty sure that's the arrangement that we talked about even before we got started. Exodus, am I right?
No, those are all my logos. I
He
need all
owns
the
them
money to
all,
make.
son of a gun.
No, no, that's correct. You need to speak with whoever's making this logo, what the terms are, try to get a contract. That's something I don't always do. It depends. Like I'll let them know like, hey, if there's a good client relationship, hey, you can just use the logo for whatever, you can sell it. Some people charge like extra for that. It just depends um what you're going to use it for. So it's good to put that out there. And I've even run into trouble myself in the past buying another person's art for my brand and then selling it, and there wasn't a confirmation that I was able to market that and make a profit. I never ended up selling anything, but
Yeah.
they wanted a lot. They're like, I want 10% of everything you make, and I'm like, I'm not going to sell any shirts, I just wanted one. So it depends on the what the client is going to do with the
Yeah.
designs and what the designer wants to do with them.
Yeah, and it's always important to establish that on the front end. So when you
Yeah.
first start your conversation with your designer, make it very clear that you want to own the rights, and the contract price is for those rights. And now a designer, if you're talking to a designer, I definitely recommend saying, "Hey, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it to market, to promote yourself, and this is something that you've worked on." Because as a designer like yourself, Exodus, like you want to get more business. You created this
Mhm.
logo, and unless they're paying for exclusivity and like they don't want anyone to market it, they'll pay for that. So like if I wanted that for my logos from you, I would have had to pay extra to help you compensate as a designer for that lack of marketing that you would get, or the lack of the marketing that you would get then from not being able to market these logos that you made. So Shadow Games jumps in here. He asks, "What would you what Oh, blah, blah, blah. I can read. Hold on. Stay in school, everybody. Would you want to be consistent with your brand or edit and change it at a small difference? Hold on. What are you asking? Would you want to be consistent with your brand or edit and change it at a small difference? So I think what he's asking is, would you want to stay consistent, or do you feel like changing in small ways is okay? What would you say about that?
I think small ways is okay. Like if I were to take someone's logo and they had, let me think of an example. Just like, let's say, a skull. They have some simple skull logo and they wanted to improve their brand but still keep the same feel so they can resonate with their audience. I would make them a new logo that looks similar, but it's just updated,
Yeah.
better quality or whatever they're looking for. I'll make those changes, but it's still going to look the same.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's great. I think that
Mhm.
answers it super well. So just as long it's staying true to the source, the main brand content. Like if I were to make a change on mine, it would only be a little subtle changes, and it would only be to improve an already amazing logo. I don't even know how I would improve it. Um, marijuana game asks, how do you know the style is right? Do you gauge this based off fan reaction or your own?
It's mainly my own reaction, my own interpretation and stuff. But I ask them what style do they want, or what I like to do is ask for a reference of what they're looking for. So if they can send me screenshots of other designers' work, I'm not stealing, I'm not copying that, but that's like, okay, they want,
The mood board.
grunge.
Most
Yeah, a
people
mood
haven't
board.
heard of what a mood board is, but a mood board is basically taking a bunch of images with certain styles and feels, putting them together so the designer can say, okay, here's the style that this person's looking for. But anyways, keep going. Most people haven't heard of a mood board, so that's why I throw it
Yeah.
out there. They don't know what that is. So
Yeah, but that just helps a designer know where to take everything because we're trying to come up with everything from
from nothing,
scratch.
yeah.
Yeah. So, with a logo that it's almost easier because you kind of have to picture it and you can draw lines and then, oh, I can start to see something. But with, like, let's say, a banner design and the style, there you can do anything with it. So you really need to kind of hone in on a style. So there's like grunge styles, which are like gritty and dark and splatter effects, or there's minimalistic, which is kind of like Hippo's thumbnail and Hippo's sort of brand. His is a little mix of grunge, I would say, and what did I just say? Minimalistic, because he's got that like texture in the background. So he's kind of both. He's putting out a professional yet a little aggressive, which is perfect for his brand.
Aggressive.
Well, yeah, you're the cursed captain, so you're doing PvP and stuff. So that definitely, not yourself, is you're not aggressive, but your
You know
content,
what,
your PvP.
Exodus? I appreciate that. No, that's good.
All right.
I would say so. A great question, Mero. I would say to kind of respond to that would be look at Doctor Disrespect. Right, he is the top tier gamer right now. He's won tons of awards recently for streaming, and if you watch his channel, he stays true to even to costume. He stays true to his brand, and I guarantee you that he didn't go to fans for that look and feel. He said, this is who I am. This is what I want to be. This is the style of stuff that I want to produce. And this is what I'm going to do. So I think I would say, like, you want to be true 100% to yourself. Yes, fans can have an impact, but they shouldn't have the final say ever on that type of thing, because it needs to be true to you. You know yourself the best. And anytime you're creating anything on YouTube or streaming or anything like that, it's super important to be your authentic, genuine self. If you're a big ass nerd, be a nerd. Like if you like to dress up and do pirate stuff like Crow Tuck, freaking I love Crow Tuck, or Fox Dies, another awesome one. Like, do it. Just own it. Like, that's you. Embrace it, love it. There's nothing wrong with that. People will connect when you are just your genuine, honest self. And if no one wants to connect with you, then that's probably not going to happen. Don't even worry about it. Samuel116 says, or asks the question, hey, do you only stream games on Mixer? No, I stream. I restream on YouTube and Mixer. Okay. Now for another question. Would naming a brand with your first name and a word that rhymes with your first name be a bad idea?
Mm,
I don't think
it
so.
depends on your name and what word it is, because I've had my name paired with some names that they rhyme, but it's not a good
Yeah,
brand name.
I can't say. I'm not telling you my first name. So I would
Yeah.
say if it works and you like it and you think it's fun, like and you feel like you can work off a brand, I think that's fine. I really do. I think that's okay. It's kind of this point of what do you want with your brand? Once you kind of figure that out, if you want to do that rhyming thing with your first name, go for it. I don't think there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
Um, Question: do you have strategies for gaining a following once you have that in place and the content is rolling? Social media strategies or anything besides that networking you mentioned? Order Eden asks that question. So, what would you say to that one?
I would say for me, definitely there's a kind of I have like goals. So I'll put goal I pinned it on my Twitter. I use Twitter a lot. I put goals that I want to reach in 2020 and I'm kind of working towards that and like showing people that this is what I want to accomplish. But what I do is I want to reach more people. I want to show off my art. I want to a big thing what I learned from other designers because I reached out to so many designers before I actually started jumping into
Oh,
freelancing.
you're saying you
I
did research? That's
Oh yeah,
amazing. What an
I did
astute
research.
idea. Innovative, you guys. Innovative.
Yeah, I what they said was to be active in other people's communities. So don't just focus on you. And that's something I kind of failed to do early on when I was trying to be a YouTuber. And that's something I wanted to do. But I didn't reach out to other people. I was only focused on me. So what I did was I kept in contact with these big freelance designers on Twitter, and I was engaged with them. I was giving them feedback, and then they in turn followed me even before I even started making anything. So that's one way. I didn't ask them to follow me. I wasn't trying like, oh, if I talk to this person, they're going to follow me. I was just engaging with them, and then they bounce off that feedback and give you feedback and help you out. And I still do that to this day. I'm trying to get my face and my name, my brand out there, and in turn I get people coming back to me, and it's really cool how that works. So I would say definitely be active in other communities, respond to other content, and then just write some goals for yourself that you want to accomplish and figure out what things you need to do. Because if you write them down, it will help you remember and help you think about how to reach them.
It's good. It's good. I would say one of the best ways to there's the obvious things, right? So like when I post a new video, I use something called Zapier to automatically post it to my Discord, automatically tweet it on my Twitter, and then automatically post it to my I know this is gonna be crazy, but Hippo has a Facebook page. I'm not really active on it, but if you want to like me over there, that's awesome. I'm most active on my Twitter for the social medias, but using tools in that way to like anytime you post a video, do that. But something I want to say, so kind of going back in history and my channel, so we're almost at 14,000, which is insane. It's insane. It's crazy. People have been doing content creation for years and years and years and years. They're nowhere near like 1,000 people. Like it was insane what was happening to my channel and what happened last year. And I'm excited for the future, but something that started it for me. So like you ask, what's the best thing that you can do to like market yourself? I would say it's reading trends. Reading trends for the content that you're trying to create and make something unique for that. So the video that really launched my channel was this video called Salty Pirate Legends. And I had this whole long dialogue in Xbox chat with this person who was really pissed off at me for boarding their sloop and murdering them over and over and over. I literally did it probably like 15 times. Just two people by myself, one versus two. This was back when the sword was actually good, and I just dominated them. And they were so pissed off at me. They called me hacker, cheater, all this stuff. And they're super salty about it. So, and they said they were going to get me banned. So I was actually kind of nervous. This was back when I was like fresh. So I'm like, oh crap, did I do something wrong? Like I didn't smack talk them. I just did my piratey self and said, things. But uh I wasn't salty back. I was just kind of my funny self, as you guys know me to be. And what happened was, so the trend at that time on Reddit was people loved to see salty pirate legends. Like pirate legends were still rather fresh, still something rather new. And so I had this amazing footage. I made a video out of it, and then I posted the story to Reddit, and that is when I went from like 50 subs to 350 in a matter of like a day or two. And for me, like back then, that was, I mean, that's huge growth, huge growth. But going back to that main point, it's reading the trend. If I were to post that same thing today, it probably wouldn't get near as much traction. The things that get a lot of traction right now, if you're reading kind of this main game of Sea of Thieves, which is one of the featured games on my channel, people are really in search of content. Like they want the game to mean more. Like people have seen Athena steals. Like that crap don't mean nothing to nobody anymore. Like they want things like, if you go to Reddit, the things that constantly hit the top of the ranks are like, if you notice today, I did a video on a mermaid content proposal, like a mermaid content update proposal, where I kind of talk about, hey, wouldn't it be awesome to see the southern part of the map open up? It's a whole new underwater world. Maybe you get a diving bell from like Black Flag. Like I go in this whole thing, but that comes from like the trend that I'm seeing, and that is people are craving content in Sea of Thieves. So how do you market yourself? It's creating content that is trending, and that takes, dare I say it, research. Oh, dang. While we were here, sorry, super chat. Brian dropped 20 bucks. This is it. Ahoy, my question is, see if these can be a kind of a frustrating experience sometimes. Do you ever get angry or mad on stream? If so, how do you deal with that? That's a great question, Brian. This is how I deal with it right here. You ready? Right there. That's it. I'm just kidding. You can't take yourself too seriously. If you get super frustrated, you just gotta, maybe you need to get up for a second and walk out. Like it's important to remember it's a game and not to get too crazy. What do you think, Exodus?
Well, I agree. I mean, that happens to me sometimes because I feel like, oh, I only have this little amount of time to play. I want to win, so definitely not doing that. don't get too upset. It's just a game.
And
Don't
it's
make
hard,
it,
and
yeah.
it's hard to do, right? So like if you're in the heat of the moment, like you get into games like I do, like I totally understand, like especially when other people are being super dumb, like super toxic, and you're just like, I am going to murder you with the force of 1,000 suns. Like you get really angry and you want to, and they still get you. All right, I have become what I hate the most. I have become a double gunner in Sea of Thieves. The reason why is I have been forced into a corner because the rare has changed the sword so much, it's become total and utter garbage. I hate the sword right now in Sea of Thieves. It's total trash. But I say that to say, double gunners, back in the day, before like they made the tweaks to like have the delay, it was like instant 2 shots in one, basically. They really pissed me off. Super pissed me off.
Yeah, same. I even made content off of that, so that is, that's a trend. Everyone was doing double gunning, and I tried my best to make content on it, and I was decent with the sword and stuff, so I would go against them and like sink a brig solo, and they all had double guns, and I recorded it. It's not high quality, but that's just another example of looking at trends and going off of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I would say too. I know, Brian, this is for you, but I would say too, people love to see you get angry, so it's something to embrace too, right? Like if you get frustrated, like you just like want to throw your table up or something like that, like Thor style. Just when you do it, just remember in the back of your head, it's like have fun with it too at the same time. Like if you're gonna get angry, like have fun with it, because people will find it hilarious, and it's just more content for you. Like if you lose your absolute crap on Oh, wait, hold on. I got a button for this. If you lose your absolute for this, and you can't control it, and you just want up a storm, you know what I'm saying? You just up a storm. Curse up a storm is trying what I was going for. Embrace it. People love that. They think it's hilarious. Just don't go full toxic. Just be careful. There's a line there. You don't want to go to the point where like you like tap into some not good things. So just keep
inner rage.
Inner rage. Keep it lighthearted. Keep it lighthearted. It's important. It's important. Let's see. Any other questions here? I think. Oh, hey, we got Pool Bum in there, guys. Pool Bum's another streamer, content creator. I actually ran into him while playing the game, and I was sneaking on a Fort of the Day and was gonna steal it from him. But he was so funny. He was just talking. He's got this like southern draw. I haven't. He's just amazing, guys. Check out Pool Bum. He's in the YouTube chat. He's super funny, and I couldn't bring myself to murder him. I was just like, I love you. I find a connection. You're making me laugh and be in a better mood. So anyways, check Pool Bum out. He's a great dude. I had to throw that out there. I saw him there. Brian says, I love watching you yell at Lobo when he goes nuts. F22 has a question here, and then we'll probably wrap up there for our last question. He asks, may not be related, but any tips on sort of breaking out of your shell on camera, etc.?
Are you asking me or Hitbo that?
Let's ask you that, since you're the branding expert.
Okay. Well, I do get a little camera shy. Like before this interview, I was super like excited / nervous, didn't want to mess up.
Don't worry, you've only messed up at least 10 times. It's no big deal.
Can't get any worse. Yeah, just trying to think of it as like you're talking to your friends, like, you know, or your fan base or whatever. And just knowing what you're talking about and just knowing yourself really helps. And then if there's something you want to improve on camera, like I have trouble looking at the camera itself, I just make sure to just do that and push through it, and then it, you know, I won't be insecure about that. You'll get better at it the more you practice. The biggest thing I would say is if you mess up what you say, which I do a lot, and if you do something that just messes things up, just try to keep it going, and you'll overcome that over time.
Yeah, it's good. This is something that I'm still learning every time I stream. It's something that you have to work at, kind of what Exodus was saying. You have to practice it. Looking at camera is important. Pretending like you're talking to a friend, I think that's great advice. Imagine for a moment you're playing games and your buddy's sitting on the couch next to you, and something insane just happened. You look over to your buddy and like you're reacting with him. That's kind of what streaming is. It's like you're playing this game and you have a bunch of people on the couch with you and they're all watching you play it, and something insane happens and you lose it with excitement. You want to make sure that you bring them into that, and the webcam's the way that we do that, right? So if you're a streamer, you want to engage with the webcam, you want to look into the camera lens the most that you can, especially when you're talking to them or addressing them. It's all good stuff. So anyways, I think that was it, guys. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you everyone for stopping by. We have had a great time, Exodus. Thank you for being a this episode 3 branding.
Yeah, of course, it was awesome.
I think someone's knocking on your door, by the way.
Yeah, they can wait a second.
All good guys. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna keep it going live here for a second, and I'll jump into the chat. But if you guys need branding, if you need someone to really help you with branding, definitely check out ExodusAblaze. Reach out to him. I think Twitter is probably the best way, so drop him a follow on Twitter. And just send him a DM or just tweet at him. Honestly, that's how I started my conversation with him. And just go from there. He's an amazing artist. I love the work that he's done for my whole crew. Durnan, Sharpie, Lobo, Beardo, Jester, all of them are outstanding. And if you need a good logo, his prices are fair. Actually, when I think I first started to work with you, my first response was like, dude, these prices are way too low. Way too low.
Yeah.
Raise them after I pay you to do this logo work for me.
Yeah.
But with that being said, they're still very competitive and very fair. And there's a lot of people out there like, yeah, you could go to a Fiverr and pay like pennies, but you're not going to get something unique and you're not going to get something that's super great. So do you have like specific prices, Exodus, or do you kind of like what's your structure right now? Is it kind of
Well,
fluctuating depending on the project or?
yeah, depending on the quality and the project, I try to keep it around the same price. But recently I've been getting DMs from like huge people, like people I don't think I should be working for, and they like are interested in me. So I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm trying to like find that sweet spot for prices where it works for everyone and they're getting the quality they want.
Yeah.
Um, but there's designers always have different ways of doing it. Some say set prices are good, some say set prices are bad. So I try to do a little bit of both
Yeah, I
and kind
love
of
that.
work
Yeah.
within people's budgets.
That's great. Yeah, and he did that with me. So definitely check him out, reach out to him, and he'll take care of you guys. Like he's worth it. Check him out, ExodusAblaze. And with that being said, everyone, thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna jump into chat here for a little bit longer. And Exodus, this is good.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. It was super awesome.
All
Super
right,
exciting.
all right, everybody. We'll check you guys later. I think the next one I'm gonna try to get is either Crow's Nest. Possibly. I'm throwing it out there. I have a message to him. And I have some other people excited for the next episode on Creator Crew. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you guys next time.